And welcome back, everybody, to episode 2 of the Darker Side podcast. I am, as always, your host of the show, Nick Dodge, also a part of Nick Dodge Film and Photography. As always, my co-host is here with me.
Hey, how's it going? Sliver, part of Sliver Productions.
Excellent. And then, who do we have behind you?
Kevin.
Kevin
The one and only
Pineda.
Kevin.
Yes.
For Novak Productions.
No, yeah, I was about
Novak
to say,
Productions,
I always
yeah.
forget his production
It's
company.
Novak Productions.
It's now
Not post-apocalyptic. It's
Yes.
Novak.
And so, as always, if anything screws up on this episode,
It's Kevin's fault.
it's Kevin's fault.
Yeah.
And then with us today, in the meantime, we have Armon McConnell.
How you guys doing?
We're
Pretty
doing
good.
Great.
Pretty good.
Now we have Armon on here today. He's also a fellow filmmaker, producer, and such. Shut those sunglasses up. We have Armon McConnell on here today to help discuss and sort of review the latest horror flick that reached theaters just last week.
Yeah,
Just this weekend, actually.
Friday, right?
Yeah, Friday.
Yeah, Friday. Or sometimes it's Thursday.
Thursday's opening,
Like,
but
it's not even
Friday's like
they don't even do midnight shows anymore like they
Yeah.
used to on Thursday. It's like, here's a 7:30 show.
on
Yeah.
Just
Thursday.
like, what's the point? Just
They
release
did
the
that
movie
for
on
Ready
Thursday.
Player One, too. They actually did it for Wednesday on Ready Player
Did
One.
they?
Wednesday?
They did it on Wednesday, not Thursday.
Yeah, that's weird.
And it came
So
out Thursday.
dumb.
Came out Thursday.
Yeah. Like, quotations. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, okay. But yeah, so I saw A Quiet Place yesterday, Sunday at 9:30 a.m. because tickets.
Chickens. Yeah.
Tickets are cheaper in the morning.
Are they really?
Yes, can you believe it?
Hey, you didn't know that?
Yeah.
I'm not smart.
$5.
I saw it at 8 o'clock at night.
And then, Armand, when did you go and see A Quiet Place?
I saw it yesterday
Okay.
at 8 p.m.
So kind of the spooky time.
Yeah.
Spooky time.
Spooky time.
Yes. So
Spooky hour.
I guess first impressions of the movie, what did you think?
As far as a horror movie goes, it wasn't really scary per se. Like
Ooh.
I can see jump scares coming a mile away. So no scary
Yes.
movie is actually scary to me. They did make it more scary than I originally thought it would be because when the scary points happened, they just cranked the volume all the way up to
Mhm.
blow your eardrums out. I did not like that.
Going off of that, let's talk about jump scares for a second,
Mhm.
because I'm also not the biggest fan of jump scares. I think it's a really cheesy way to scare an audience.
Yeah.
And like you said, they just boost up the audio. They got that high-pitched viola, like, or
Mhm.
something, you know? Oh, that's going to sound great in the podcast later.
I should have monitored that.
But there were a few jump scares that were well executed.
Yeah.
Like that first one at the start of the movie with the little boy in the rocket ship.
Yeah.
Not to spoil anything. Good jump scare.
Yes.
Good jump scare.
Yes.
I didn't think they would actually go as far as they did with what occurred,
Oh no.
but I was pleasantly surprised by it, I guess.
Yeah.
Which is kind of sick to think about. You're like, yeah, they
Yes.
did it.
Yes. Oh yes. It's like am I a bad person?
I'm not bad for it. But you are there's just way too many jump scares in this movie. And that's all they use. And for a movie that focuses on sound, I would think there would be more atmosphere. I think there would be more unnerving scares and such. But instead we just have loud noises.
Yeah.
That
I mean they
trailer
had
looked
a
good.
lot of nat sound though. So that was cool.
There was a lot of
Yeah.
good
There
nights,
was cuz like there was only like what 4 or 5 lines in the entire movie. But
Was it really?
there was very few lines in the movie.
There was a lot of sign language.
Yeah. Well, so yeah,
Right.
there's a lot of like sign language, but where they were actually speaking, there was probably only like 5 lines or so, something like that. It
But you know
wasn't that many.
I liked when they actually had the opportunity to talk.
Yeah.
In the movie, because I don't know, I guess it brought this sense of like humanity onto
Mhm.
these characters themselves. That they're not just whispering sign language, kind of post-apocalyptic survivors. There's actually people here.
Yeah.
And when they have the opportunity to talk, it's an opportunity that a lot of us take for granted,
Mm-hmm.
almost. And you were right, like lots of natural sounds. They say 51% of a film is just sound alone to tell a
Mhm.
story, to build characters. This movie was like
At least 80.
You think 80?
I was thinking it's like
80%?
80. There was a lot of sounds, and that's pretty much how you told the story. Because I don't know, I'm very
Yeah.
lazy when it comes to reading
Yeah.
So I didn't want to read, the sign language, but I had to. But yeah, I focused on sound a lot.
But
you can read sign language?
They have the
I know.
subtitles. That's what I meant.
I know.
Subtitles. I didn't want to read those.
So the question is, was it scary? Was it actually scary?
Armand says no.
Not really. But it was
Are you
good.
like a 3/4 not scary, 1/4? Some scenes are kind of scary.
Yeah,
kind of
some
person?
scenes
Yeah.
were scary.
Okay.
But it was a really good movie.
Yeah.
I really liked it.
What'd you think?
I'll say this. For a horror movie and for a horror movie enthusiast, it was not initially scary, but there were a lot of moments in the movie where they built tension. And it was that tension that scared me more than the actual scare itself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Even if I knew what was coming, it was so well executed with either the dead silence and the soundtrack. Can I just put this out? I didn't think this movie would have a soundtrack.
It had a soundtrack?
It had a soundtrack. And it was a beautiful soundtrack.
Oh,
In
yeah.
fact, it reminded me of the Alan Wake soundtrack, that video game, Alan Wake.
Yeah.
Lots of light piano, lots of violin chords. Like, it was a good soundtrack for a movie that focuses on, like,
Don't make a sound.
don't make a sound. Yeah. What else was there? I have a whole list, but if there's anything else you want to discuss while I look up this list.
I mean, one thing I really liked about the film, and it sucked because the theater was dead silent the entire time, which was really cool. It's the quietest I've ever seen a movie theater. Is the shot variety was really good. They had a lot of camera movement in there, and I was just sitting in the theater thinking to myself, it's like, oh my gosh, yes. Oh, that is okay. That's a nice
Sean's
transition.
taking a toll on you, huh?
Oh yeah. And I was sitting there, like speaking in my head, and then my friend next to me, he's a music producer, or he wants to be, and he's like, "That is very good sound." So we were just sitting there, like mentally freaking out to this, and then everyone else in the theater is probably just blindly watching it. It's like, come on, people.
Well, you know how you were before you got on the video production.
Oh, yeah.
It was like
I could care less. It's like,
cool.
oh, that's a cool. Like I recognized a sequence, but I didn't recognize like, oh, that's a nice transition.
Right.
yeah.
So some good things. Great acting.
Oh yeah.
Especially the child acting. How
That
hard is it
that
to get
was
a
impressive.
Good, yeah.
Oh.
It was incredible to see a good child actor,
Yeah.
especially in a horror movie.
Yeah. And like they could not talk.
Right.
And it's like, how did you really?
I don't think there's a spoiler,
If
but like one of the child actresses was deaf
Yeah.
in the movie, so she really couldn't talk.
Mhm.
And those scenes where it kind of puts us in her perspective and everything's muted
everything's just silent. Oh my gosh,
yes.
that was amazing.
So great acting, terrific child actors. The atmosphere reminded me of They Come at Night. You ever see that movie?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know
Did
if I've
you?
seen that one.
Hold on. Which one? Remind me which one it is, because I'm pretty sure I've
They
seen
Come
it.
at Night. There's something you never know what. Spoiler. You
Wait,
never
it
know what
was it's new, right?
Semi. I think it came out last year.
Yeah. With,
And they're like in this cabin in the woods. It's post-apocalyptic.
yeah,
Something's
yeah, I've
going
seen that
on.
one. Where like the door.
Kevin's got
The
a
room?
solid no back
Yeah.
there. Yeah, so it was very atmospheric, just like They Come at Night, which was another great film up until the end, because I think the end's gonna tick a lot of people off. I mean, how'd you feel? It was just like done. You know?
It was unexpected, I guess you
yeah.
could say.
Okay, yeah. Creature design, what do you think?
I was kind of impressed by it. Like
Yeah.
I thought it was, kind of like creepy. In my mind, it looked like a giant praying mantis cockroach thing.
Okay.
I went with my friend Cameron, the sound designer. I guess he was just really hungry because he thought it looked like beef jerky. And it's like,
that's funny.
oh, okay then.
Well, think about like the textures on it.
That's a pretty gross looking beef jerky though.
Well, you buy a Slim Jim for $1 and that's what you get.
It's been sitting in the gas station for like a couple days, a couple weeks.
Well, yeah,
But like, I don't think they expire, so a couple weeks is fine.
It's like a gas station that's in the middle of the
month-old
desert.
Slim Jims with like some spray-on cheese.
Slim Jims expire. Trust me.
Well, I've never had Slim Jims last that long, so I wouldn't know.
Let's see. Mute scenes are good. Focus on sound, of course. I mean, that's what this whole movie is about. I was kind of neutral about the story. Pretty basic. Nothing like, survivors in a post-apocalyptic world. Like, okay, I get it. I've seen it before, but now it's being retold, and it's being retold well, but like it's nothing new.
Yeah.
Right. And then concept, it was neat. but I also felt like it was a cop out to an extent.
Yeah.
Like, because it gave the movie an excuse to just use sound.
Yeah.
But then again, that also helped.
You know, and you don't really see a lot of movies that just focus on sound, you know?
Oh no.
Right, yeah. It's always
Yeah.
all five senses and stuff.
Uh-huh.
Bad things, jump scares, already covered.
Yeah.
Unneeded jump scares.
Yeah.
Can we go off this for a second and you can join me? But there were a couple scenes I have in mind. One is the little boy's by the tractor at night, right?
Mhm.
And his sister's looking for him.
Yeah.
And he just grabs her and it's a jump scare.
I didn't like that at all.
I hate those
Like-
kind of jump scares. It's so stupid.
Like I
It
kind of
was-
thought it was gonna happen, but it was
Right.
just you don't need it.
Well, it's like this moment in time that's supposed to be like, oh, I found my brother. Siblings are reuniting.
You know what I? You,
But it's like come at
you know what
me,
I
bro.
think it is? I think it's the producers. They know that the movie is not scary, so they had to put in a few cheap jump scares in there to actually get the people going. Oh, you know?
Kevin really wants some screen time
He
today.
really he literally ducks down like, yes, I am
Yes.
part of this production. Okay.
Yeah, we need to get a microphone
see
in there.
me.
We need to get mic 4 in there.
Like Ford just put it in. Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, we need to talk about this, and this might be the last thing, if we want it to be. But the way the solution for the creature, for
Mhm.
taking care of it. I don't want to go in the spoiler territory,
Mhm.
but for a creature that is based on audio input only, you
Mhm.
would think that a government, including ours, that spends trillions of dollars a year, could come up with the same solution that Jim Halbert did.
Sorry, you mean whatever his actual name is. But Jim Halpert didn't mean to come up with this, okay? What, Cece, his daughter,
yeah.
came up with, like, found out by accident.
And that's the other thing. This movie has so many accidents. Is the ex machina of bad scenarios taking place one after the other after the other.
Yeah.
Every worst case scenario that could have happened to this poor family did.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a little heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm like, can we just have a good moment for a
Yeah.
second? Can we not knock over the lantern, tomorrow night? You know?
Like, how about just, stop playing board games, okay? If you didn't play board games, you wouldn't have knocked over that lantern.
Why do we have a lantern? Light bulbs are pretty quiet, aren't they? Why do
I
we
mean,
know?
you hear a
No,
click.
you hear, well, okay, one, you hear clicks, but it has a faint hum, and if the creature's attracted to sound, it might pick up on that hum.
Yeah, but they went over like the waterfall thing. It's just this constant sound, right? They're picking up on a hum. It's just a
Well, what
hum.
about
It's
when
a
they
constant-
light it?
yeah,
I mean, like, you
but-
notice when, like, even if
Oh,
it, like,
when they're
matches a lighter, anything,
Yeah.
it's so.
But that's one tiny sound in a distance, and it only happens once.
Yeah, I know, but you could barely hear the.
Was there not?
I can hear the hums.
Was there
currently.
not a time
Well,
in
those
the
are
movie?
strong lights.
Well, yeah. But you turn them off, the hum stops, and the creature's like, "What's going on? It stopped. I'm about to check this out," and then everyone dies.
Or, you know what? Whatever.
Was there not a point in the film where one unique sound popped out and a creature just went
Yeah.
straight for it? So what is the difference?
Uh,
Is there one? Is it excusable?
there is a time where a sound went off, and then a creature came towards it, but I guess it was a very big sound. So,
There's a lot of sounds.
yeah,
We can't. Yeah, it's hard to know which sound you're talking about.
it's very.
Is it- What?
It's related to Titanic, kind of in a way.
Titanic.
Remember
What
that-
are you getting
that
at?
budget Titanic scene?
I don't know. I saw
Did you not-
Titanic when I
what?
was 8
Do you
years
not
old.
remember? Really?
Yes.
The door
The door.
just replaced water with a different.
Okay.
object, you
We're
know?
gonna
Oh,
cut
hold
it
on,
right
you-
there.
We're
losing-
yeah,
okay,
I was
you
about
wanna
to
talk
say
about it?
something, but never mind.
Because we're losing airtime with me trying to figure out this Titanic scene in relation to a horror movie that just
Well, yeah, no, it was a
out.
big sound, and then they fell into something, and used a door to stay above it.
Oh, okay.
It looked like the
okay.
budget Titanic scene.
The audience that's listening to this is gonna be like, "What?"
What are you talking about?
They're gonna find out if they watch
Eventually,
when
yeah.
they watch the movie.
I want to watch it.
Go-
I think I'm gonna go watch it this weekend
Yeah.
after Ready Player One. But
Are you really gonna see Ready Player
I am
One?
gonna see. I heard. All right. There's a scene in there that my brother was talking about, and I really want to see. So I'm gonna watch Ready Player One.
Is it with the Iron Giant?
No, it's not with the Iron
Oh,
Giant.
no,
It has something to do with the horror movie.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
In Ready Player One?
Uh huh.
I kind of have
I
to
won't.
watch
I won't
that, though.
spoil the. What
Yeah,
it is.
don't.
Yeah.
But
Have you
But
seen it, though?
it's my favorite one. So
Okay. And referring back to episode 1, by the way, nothing is as scary as that scene in Annihilation. Still,
I still haven't seen that one.
It's a great movie. It'll twist your mind all over the place. But that bear scene I brought up last
Oh
episode,
yeah, you're
nothing.
talking about that.
Yeah, nothing.
I mean, is it like the Revenant, like that
The
kind
Revenant
of
bear scene. That was
that was really cool.
It's you take the Revenant bear scene and amp it up.
What?
Like turn that knob up. Like it is just
That was a gruesome scene.
wild. It's not even because it's gruesome. It's the sound.
Those
It's
are
the
pretty good
sound.
sounds too.
So like
The
when you hear
cinematography,
somebody
though.
like running down the hall with like their heavy footsteps, and you're like, oh,
I don't want to ruin anything.
Okay.
I don't know if I will. Annihilation's been out for like a year now, right? So
Has it?
should I just say it?
That's the one with Natalie Portman, right?
Yes.
Didn't that one come out like 2 months ago?
No. I just saw it at the Elvis Theater, and they don't play new movies. It's not that new.
Huh.
Tell
I
you,
don't know.
I swear.
tell you what, if it's been out for like 8 months or longer, I feel like we can spoil it.
Yeah, that's true.
I agree. So the bear kills one of the characters,
Mhm.
and then it appears. What?
What just happened?
What just happened? Armand, get over there.
Are these on
Will
motion
Ferrell,
sensors?
fill the.
What in the
there
world?
it is.
Is it motion
What was that?
I don't know. Maybe we should use the. No, we're not.
Huh.
Keep going. Keep going.
Huh.
So
weird.
technical difficulties,
That was
everybody.
weird.
For those of you
Alright.
watching the video podcast,
Oh, the lights just went out.
yeah, all the
Well,
lights
You
just
guys
went
know
out.
that, but the audio people, the lights just went out.
yeah. So this is actually perfect for the people finding us on Buzzsprout and such
Yeah.
for the audio portions. So that was fun.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now we know that. What was I getting at? Okay, so the bear kills somebody, right?
Mhm.
It appears at a later scene. Actually, that would have been perfect with the lights going out. Yeah. And the bear ripped out the vocal cords of the person before, and it takes the person's last dying moments on as its vocal traits. So the way it fools the other characters into thinking that this other character is still alive is by going like, help me, but in that screaming, terrified, last dying moment voice. But it's coming out of this bear. And the bear, like the skeletal structure, you can see it, and the rest is kind of matted fur and stuff. It's a combination of what the bear looks like and what the bear sounds like. And it sounds like this dying woman being torn apart.
Ooh, that's pretty cool.
Oh.
It is so crazy. Just thinking about, like, I'm getting goosebumps.
I see it.
Yeah,
I see it.
That scary of a scene. So there's that out of the way, right?
Wow.
Everybody, this has been the Darker Side Podcast. Of course, we're not done yet. We're doing 45-minute videos now because we reached one of our other incentives.
Yes, thank
So
you guys.
Thank you all once again. I think we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Armand, you're pretty much heading out, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for being on the show, at least.
No problem.
When we come back, we are going to have Chris from the local kind of grungy punk rock act, Sliver, join us. We're going to talk with him for a bit. We're going to discuss Stephen King, H.P. Lovecraft, Dean Koontz,
Edgar Allan Poe.
and Edgar Allan Poe, and kind of like have this showdown. And yeah, should be fun, right?
Yeah.
So I guess when we come back, we'll have Chris here and tons more content for you. So stay tuned, everyone.
Sit around and what to do, nothing new, and I'm blue. Once unspoken, is it true? I just hope that I'm not soon. Right brain spoken, it's not healing. Left brain should have a meeting, find out what is depleted. I don't care that I'm bleeding. Say your place when I'm leaving. What is left? There's no reason, is it all?
And welcome back, everybody, to the Darker Side Podcast.
Podcast.
I'm getting an accent mid-show. Welcome back, everybody. We just got through with our A Quiet Place review with Armon. Now we have Chris here from the band Sliver.
Hello. I'm Chris. I play guitar and I sing. I also smash my instruments a lot.
That's true.
Yeah. It's nice to be with you all, I guess.
Thank you.
Hello.
Chris, it's good to have you on board.
And thanks, buddy.
Dude, you have a lot of fans that are very dedicated. Like, I have talked to some of them over Facebook and stuff, especially when we created the event for this podcast, and they're, like, psyched, not only about you, right? I mean, a little bit about you, just to flatter you, right? But, like, your band in general. And that tells me that you guys are doing something right in the music scene. You're not just another, like, sugar-coated act for the stage.
Yeah, I've played with, like, a lot of those bands, and it's boring. It's really boring.
Terribly boring. One of my favorite bands, who is no longer a band, is Him, His Infernal Majesty.
Yes, I know who him is.
Yeah, and, I mean, I love them to death, right? But when they perform on stage, they just stand still and play the songs.
See, that's really boring. I've never really been a fan when I go and see a band just stand there and not do anything. It shows that they don't really care about being. They're more focused on playing their instruments and perfectly instead of putting on a good show. Yeah, that's why I move around. I don't care if I mess up. Like, oh well. The crowd has no idea I messed up. It's just me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. Yeah, seriously. Nobody else knows you messed up, right? And as a photographer, like a music photographer, it's great to get bands that actually move around, that actually, like, you know, are just wild on stage.
Your, like, pictures were perfect,
Thank
the
you.
way. I was very impressed.
You got another photographer, I noticed. And he's not bad.
Ezekiel.
Yeah.
So, Ezekiel, he's a cool dude. He works with Colorado Punk.
Yeah.
And he came out to our Colorado Spring show to, like, I guess review it. I don't know. I know I hit him up, but he's a nice kid. If any bands want pictures, talk to Nick here, or like
thank you.
or like Ezekiel, and you won't go wrong.
Yeah, and that's a shout out to Ezekiel.
Yes,
right? Ezekiel. Okay. Interesting name. Definitely. I mean, when I went to school, right, there would be 3 or 4 other Nicks in the class. So he definitely stands out already, name alone. But I saw his photography. It was nice. Shout outs to him. Maybe we could network. Hey! You handle the punk shows, I'll get the metal shows, and we got half the music scene taken care of.
So where does my band fall in that then? Because you came out, and we're not a metal band, or are we a metal band? I hope we're not a metal band.
No, I definitely sticking in like alternative rock or punk.
Okay.
Because you definitely have the punk vibes, I feel like. But you definitely play that more alternative rock.
Yes.
If that makes sense. So I like your band because it's a combination of so many different genres.
I really appreciate that because I'm the one who comes up with the ideas for and like the songs. I'll sit at my house with a guitar and I'll figure out riffs. Now my other band members, Kyle who plays drums and Hollis who plays bass. I don't write their parts at all. I'll just come in with a song and I'll pitch it. Yeah. And they'll be like, "Oh, okay, well, here's what I'll do." And I'm like, "Cool. That's a lot easier on me."
Yeah, so you're definitely fronting the band in that case.
I guess, yes.
Right. I mean, you're kind of managing it. And that's not a bad thing, right?
No.
I'm not just saying it's like your band. You know how some bands are like,
It's my band.
I'm Nick Dodge, and the
Hassel works for me.
It's the Nick Dodge project, and you know, I actually had an old band member who got really pissed at me and called my band the Chris Mercer and Project, and I was all like, I never told you once what to play.
Mhm.
How daring you? But oh well.
Yeah.
He's a cool dude. I like him a lot. So
I mean, some people have walls that you just cannot get over.
egos. It's not walls. It's egos.
Can your ego be a wall?
Yes, actually.
Can we get metaphorical here? Get real deep in this podcast?
That's like
Yeah.
way out there for me. I'm not an
Right.
intellectual. I just play guitar.
I mean, to an extent. I mean, you're writing notes, you're writing music, you're.
I have no idea.
It's almost
what I'm playing.
mathematical.
I have no
Huh?
idea what I'm playing though.
You're still getting up there and playing it.
True.
I mean,
True.
there's some level of intelligence there.
Yes.
You know, you're not just picking up an instrument like I would and just like, you know, you actually think about it a little bit, you know,
Yeah.
instead of like if you gave me a guitar, I'd
You
like
don't know how to play guitar?
I don't.
We already went over that through the first episode.
I would just be strumming away. God knows what notes I'm playing.
That's how
Everything's
I
out
would
of
be.
tune.
I knew like a few riffs here and there, but I mean like after a while I stopped playing guitar. I didn't completely forgot. I used to know how
Yeah.
to play The Rover by Led Zeppelin, and then
Yeah.
after that I completely forgot about it.
So I can't even play a single lead Zeppelin song.
Yeah.
I know none of their discography
Mm-hmm.
because it was way too complex and for me.
Yeah.
I was more into like punk and rock, like the Bad Brains and all that. I was
Mhm.
really into garage as well. I listened to a lot of the Wipers, who are my favorite band. They actually influenced Nirvana and all that, so go check them out. Speaking of that band, that's who got me to pick up a guitar in like the first place was Kurt Cobain.
Oh, like you're sure. Yeah.
Yeah, this band sucks. Almost as much as mine, but not as much.
Yeah.
Almost as much.
Almost.
By the time your band sucks as much as them, you'll be on top, right? Or did I have that backwards?
Yeah, I think you had it
Did I have that
backwards.
backwards?
By the time my band sucks as much as Nirvana. No, yeah, you
Yeah.
and you
No, I did
are
that right. Yeah.
because mainstream rock sucks,
Yeah.
especially Green Day.
Oh, this is getting
Whoa.
controversial.
We're
Shots
taking
fired.
punches here.
I like Green Day. I like early Green Day. I know that's so like stereotypical. Like I like early Green Day when they were real punk.
So my biggest issue with those bands, like Blink 182 and Green Day. So you say and I kind of agree.
Okay.
But those bands have their place. They
Mm-hmm.
in the same way that like Nirvana did, they influenced a lot of the people to go pick up a guitar or pick up a bass or pick up drums, and then they found good bands through those
Mhm.
really boring generic bands.
I hear you. I mean, I know a lot of bands from high school
Mm-hmm.
that just are Blink 182 ripoffs. Basically, like I can't, you know, that's just how it was. you
Yeah, I
know?
know a lot of bands like that
Yeah.
too.
And I mean, pop punk, that's fine. Not my favorite genre in the world, to be quite
It's
honest with you.
overdone.
Especially these days.
Yeah, so it's between hardcore and pop punk that they're just every aware.
Yeah.
I like hardcore though.
Yeah.
Pop punk, 6 and 1 half a dozen, and the other it depends on the band.
No, I hear you. And real quick, just because I thought up it, I'm not doing too well today, ladies and gentlemen. So you want to go over some local shows really quick for
Local
us?
shows. Yeah, we got at the Seventh Circle Light Story on April 12th.
Awesome.
Oh, we got at the Globe Hall, Guinea Mules. Is it
Who's
Guinea
that?
Mules or Ginny Mules?
I'm going with Ginny. You said Guinea.
Yeah, I don't know. Ginny Mules,
Somebody's
April 14th.
playing. Yeah.
At the Marquis Theater, Sharon in the Wind, April 13th.
And that's actually a pretty great local band.
Yeah.
Yeah, lead singer, female lead singer, but she's not like your typical female lead singer with a kind of high vocal. She definitely has a more baritone.
kind of reminds me of like
Huh.
Amy Lee.
Yeah.
I've played with them for at Seven's 5th anniversary show.
Yeah.
So
And they're not that bad. They're pretty good, in my general opinion. Who else we got?
Right at the Roxy Theater, we got Paris at the 12th.
Oh yeah, that's Paris PVRIS. Just so everybody knows, it's the big name Paris, and I'm not sure why they're playing the Roxy. I've been told it's actually a show for local bands to play in order to like play open for Paris at a later show. So I'm not sure about that one, but what else we got?
We got Legend of the Seagullmen on the 14th.
Woo! Some good old pirate punk rock, I believe.
Oh, didn't we go over them last week?
Oh
Maybe?
yeah, I think they got an album coming out or something.
did they?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an album.
Yeah.
Or a song. It was one of the two. We got the Streets of London pub.
Yep.
At the Streets of London pub.
Yep.
The Lollygags at the 14th.
Another good punk show.
and actually one of my friend's bands is playing that. They're called Stare and Rio Shifter. They're a good band. I'd go and check them out.
Cool.
There you go. Well, everybody, we're taking a second break. We're going to play you another song from Sliver.
Ew.
And yeah, try not to enjoy it too much. When we come back, we're going to tell you about upcoming releases, and then we're going to chat about authors for a bit. So stay tuned.
I know you cannot find an I know you cannot be and you know how I could find an I know you cannot be and I don't know if I can find you will I won't I just know I'll find you will I know how. I know you cannot find an I know you cannot be and you know how I could find an I know you cannot be and I don't know if I can find you will I won't I just know I'll find you will I know I'll go. You will I won't I just know I'll find you will I know I'll go. That band sucks.
And we're back again. Man, is it laziness that we take 2 breaks, or is it just because
We're awesome.
we're so awesome? We are, in fact, awesome. Also, what kind of upcoming releases do we have for this week?
This is all on April 13th.
I believe so. If it isn't, well, you can make believe it is.
Breaking Benjamin, Ember.
Yep.
Uh,
That's the biggest one.
Yeah. The Moondoggies, A Love Sleeps Deep.
Oh.
Blaze. A Place to Bury Strangers, Pinned. Because
that was it A Place to Bury Strangers?
yeah.
They have this album cover that looks like they should be some hardcore act or like a death metal band or something.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like really kind of smooth alternative rock
Yeah.
music. It's really great. But
We got Skeletal Remains, Devouring Mortality. We got Gozu, Equilibrium, and Grave Shadow, Ambition's Price.
yeah. And you know what is really hard actually to find upcoming releases for this week.
Really?
There's just, I mean, it's like the movie industry. Who's going to compete with the upcoming Avengers movie in the same week
Oh yeah.
of box office sales? Who's going to compete with Breaking Benjamin and their new album? Yeah, but they would overthrow you. No matter, no way.
Nah.
You're not beating Breaking Benjamin.
I know when that I just don't like them, so I'll go at them.
Okay, cool. I like them. I like them. I'll be honest. I like their first 2 albums. Then the 2 albums after that, don't like at all. And then this new one kind of sounds like they're going back to this really heavy sound, which feels like a gimmick to me. But I feel like I'm going to enjoy it just because they are going back to an original sound.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And they're kind of like one of those bands that I'm not embarrassed to say I like, but they are kind of one of my guilty pleasures. You know, I mean, that's just how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, I like Weezer, and they're a guilty pleasure.
There you
of
go.
mine.
Yeah.
I don't tell a lot. Well, now I just did. Darn it.
Perfect. So we only have so much time left, of course, because A Quiet Place. I mean, we had a lot to talk about. I mean, not so much Chris. I'm sure he would have. But so let's just go around the table once. Maybe we'll continue this next episode, see how it goes. But who is your favorite horror writer?
Stephen King.
Out of Stephen King, Dean Koontz, H.P. Lovecraft, or Edgar Allan Poe? And Chris, if you don't know who any of these 4 people are,
I know who all 4 of them are.
perfect.
Good.
Okay, so
Benny.
we'll start with Hassel. Oh, Stephen King. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So, I've read It's the Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. It's
Right.
The
Oh, I
Raven.
love that.
And the only Stephen King thing I've ever seen is the new It. Oh, no, I went back and watched the old It after watching the new It. And
Right.
the old one was not that good.
Did you ever read it?
Parts.
Yeah.
After I saw the new movie, I was like, oh, this actually seems like something I'd be interested in. I don't really read a lot. Play more
Right.
games and guitar.
I know, yeah. I read on occasion, and when it comes to Stephen King, I'm kind of just like you. I kind of like just read parts because he likes to go on so many tangents, right?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
I love that about him, though.
It makes no sense though. Like so if you take It for example, part of the reason the new movie and did so well is because they cut out a lot of Stephen King's filler out of the book.
Yeah.
Now, when they do the second part and they start getting into that turtle thing, that's when I'll probably fall off of the It train because that made
Turtle
no
thing.
sense. So remember at the end of It, or the way that It is beat, Pennywise is beat,
Right.
is
He turns into a spider.
yeah, and so
Does it turn into a turtle?
no,
No, it's a
but
spider.
his arch enemy thing
Oh,
is
you mean
this,
the alien thing?
yeah,
Oh,
it's the
okay.
giant turtle that controls the macroverse or something like that.
Yeah.
I need to read this book.
It wasn't the
You
best.
need
It wasn't
to
the best
read the
ending.
Dark. So it's explained better in the Dark Tower books.
Which failed at box office.
Yeah. I mean they weren't good at all.
Well, we shouldn't say they. There was only the one. I don't think it's getting
Yeah.
a sequel anytime soon.
I
It's because they
hope not.
mashed all the books into one movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so Stephen King was trying to do the same thing that Marvel did, and mesh everything together. And where that works with DC and Marvel, because it's superhero stuff, it's childish, so on and so forth. Something like Stephen King's universe is, you can't exactly mesh all
it
of
all
them
together, yeah.
together. It makes no sense.
Mm-hmm.
So
What's
we're
yours?
gonna. I'll save it for next time.
All right.
We're gonna continue this
Next.
on episode 3, actually, just because of time constraints, everybody.
Yeah.
But I'm
Probably
glad we got
open
some
with
good
that.
input about Stephen King in there. And then, of course, we'll have to touch on the other 3 writers.
Yep.
But, Chris, I mean, we're coming up to the end. Do you have
Mm-hmm.
any shows coming up? Do you have anything you want to say to the audience?
So we have a show at Bar on April 21st. Then we have a house show. I think either the 28th or the 29th. I can't remember the exact date, but I'm not giving out my address, so
Mhm.
message me for that. You find me on Facebook and all that stuff. And we are playing the Marquee on May 20th. So,
Are you?
mhm.
That's a good show. I like the Marquee, personally.
Yeah, I'm like surprised that we got offered to play at the Marquee. I like hit up the guy who books there, and I was like, "Hey man, can I just jump on the show?" And he was like, "Well, I have this date to open at the Marquee," and I was all like, "Oh, cool! I've never played there."
Well, that sounds awesome, Chris. Chris, real quick, I mean, thanks for joining us on the
Yeah,
podcast.
buddy.
It's
Yep,
a real
thank you.
pleasure.
Yeah, and thanks for having me, and thanks
Yeah.
for like supporting my band and all that. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, we only have the best of the best on there.
Mhm.
That's right. So, everybody, next time, we'll see you next Monday. Like I said, this will probably go up Tuesday evening, but we'll have much more great content, many more guests on board. And until then, please consider being a subscriber and tune in next time.